I was sat at my workstation, running my pre-show checks. Rig lamped on, check. Timecode enabled, check. Camera switched on, ready to record, check. I put my cans on, moved my microphone close to my mouth, and pressed the talk button. "How's everyone doing?" I said. I got the usual response from the rest of the team. One by one, everybody said standing by. Okie dokie, I'm standing by as well. I paused. A cold sweat came over me. "Is my stadium hazer engaged?" I said. I received a confirmation from the stage manager saying that it was on. A shiver went through with a huge rumble in my gut. The cold sweat became worse. It was the rumbling in my gut. I know it's a bad time, guys, but I got to run to the toilet. Off cons. I legged it through the control room and out of the entrance to the theatre. I ran down the steps to deck 7 and ran into the toilets on the starboard side. I ran into a cubicle. Something was going to come up from either end. I didn't know which, so I took a gamble, pulled down my trousers and pants, and an explosion of shit ruptured out my hole. I had to flush as the bowl was quickly filling up. There was a massive rectal sting followed by another eruption, this time of pure liquid shit. As I wiped my arse, I felt very queasy. I could feel the colour drain from my skin and the cold sweat became worse. Without a hesitation and pulling up my trousers, I dropped to the floor and span round and hit the flush button. As the brown water and sodden toilet paper disappeared down the hole, I could feel a vile burn breaching from my stomach and past my throat, projecting from my mouth. It was a mass of purely grotesque vomit. Launching out 1,000 miles an hour like a geyser, I filled the bowl once again. It passed as quickly as it came. I could feel a few chunks of undigested fuck knows what at the back of my throat. I retched again. More vomit came out, filling up the bowl. While I was chucking up, I hit the flush button once more. I slumped on the floor, stomach in agony, bowels in spasm. I pulled myself up from the floor and exited the cubicle. I staggered over to the sink and turned the tap on. I rinsed my mouth out and covered my face in cold water. I left the toilet to return to the control room. I was greeted by the noseboy. I looked like a pale, sweaty mess. I just chundered and crapped like there was no tomorrow, I said. "Sorry, dude, but you've got to go to your cabin and dial at the medical centre." I looked at him, nodded my head. "Timecode has been enabled. The lights will follow it at the track. Any problems, call me and I'll talk you through it." I walked over to the AMX panel and hit the broadcast button. I then keyed in my cabin number and then the send button. I can now see the show from my cab. I can talk you through how to fix him, as I said as I left to go down below. As I passed backstage, I was handed the spare set of wireless comms. I marched through the dressing room looking pale as fuck and then went to my cabin. I picked up the phone and dialed 999. The ship's operator asked what the emergency was and I told him what had happened. "Don't worry, sir," said the operator. "There'll be a medic on the way to you as soon as possible." "Cool," I said. "Can you let them know that I've left the door on the latch in case I've had my head down the toilet when they get here?" The operator chuckled a bit and acknowledged my message. I put the phone down and put the headset on the wireless cans on. I switched on my television and turned it to the correct channel. The volume was turned up so I could hear the show. As the show started, I felt my stomach starting to stab violently and I ran to the toilet and brought up an exorcist style of chunder. My guts were aching and I was pleading for no more, but more came. Once the violent guise of chunks had stopped, I crawled over to the sink, turned the taps on and rinsed my mouth out once more. I received a message on the comms about a light going haywire. It was the production manager. He had taken my position. I crawled out of the bathroom and dragged over my cabin's bin. I slumped on the floor and rested up against my wardrobe and glanced at the screen, clutching my bin. "Okay," I said. "Bob, on the number pad, key in 203, then on the right hand screen, touch the bottom corner, press the control button." I vomited into the bin. The poor bastards on the comms loop had to endure the sound of my chunder leaving my mouth and bouncing around the metal bin. With every ounce of concentration I could muster, I managed to force out the words, "Press the control button. You should see Dow's. Press Dow's and the unit will lamp off." "Bob," the cunt was laughing when he said done. I muted my headset's microphone and had another wave of chunder leave my gullet. There was a knock at the door and the medic came in. She had a grin on her face at the sight of me bowing my head in the bin with my headset on, watching the show on my TV set. "Now that's dedication," she said. "I can safely say that you have caught the norovirus bug. Do you share this cabin?" "No," I said, weak and pathetic as fuck. "Good," she said. "My ward is full and you can stay here. There isn't much I can do for you, so just remember to try and drink some water and let it pass." I interrupted the medic by holding my hand up. "One moment," I said. I opened up the microphone, typed 802 on the number pad and pressed the @ symbol on the large wheel next to the number pad. Pull it all the way down towards you. Press the control button, then press reset. Now count to and can you see the clear button? Press it twice once you've counted. I closed the microphone. Sorry, I said. Please continue. The medic said, you are now in quarantine for 48 hours. You cannot leave this cabinet until a doctor gives you the all clear. The housekeeping hit squad will be around in the morning to decontaminate your cabin. Then they will return in the evening to do it again. We will phone you in the morning with your boring, bland, boiled food menu, but for now, I advise you do not eat anything tonight. The medic left and I vomited into the bucket once more. The rest of the show went without incident. That was good news. Once that was finished, I talked to Bob through the power down procedure and he followed my instructions down to the T. After the strike of the show, the noise boy phoned to see if I needed any supplies from the crew bar, and I ordered 2 packets of cigarettes and 2 bottles of water. After the bar closed, he made his way down to the production corridor and knocked on my door. I answered, but he wasn't there, just my supplies. Bless him. He was a good lad. I picked up my supplies, brought them into my cabin and closed the door. As I lay in my bed wishing I was dead, all I could do was curse the cunt that didn't wash their hands after taking a dump, then started touching things around this ship, infecting people. That cunt deserved the full wrath of God. That cunt deserved the steel boot in their head. I made a vow that if I ever found the cunt who inflicted this nasty illness upon me, I would punch that cunt in the face, then throw the cunt over the side of the ship. I would drown all their fucking children, and I would incinerate the rest of their genealogy alive, so their dumb cunt genes could never breed, and inflict the result of their stupidity upon the rest of the world ever again. I passed out with my bin next to my bed and fell into a dreamless sleep, ready to continue my cursing into the next day.